Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be analyzing a chess game I played against BOSSmic5. So it started out with King's Pawn, Queen's Pawn, and my goal here is if he takes, I can take with the Queen, and then if he threatens it, I could just move the Queen to the side. And that's called a Scandinavian defense, but that didn't actually happen in the game. Instead, he brought his bishop out, which, as you can see by this bar, it's not that good because I could do something like offer a bishop trade, or what I did in the game, which is block with this pawn. And he decided to move it back, so I just decided to go offensive and attack with a second pawn, forcing this bishop to move backwards. And after this, I decided to move the king's pawn forward, and this does block the light squared bishop, but it creates opportunities for the queen and the dark squared bishop to move out. And then he decides to go more offensive with the queen's pawn forward. Although I see it leaves the king's pawn hanging, so I just decide to take the material. And he decides to move this bishop out, attacking my knight. So I see that and I just decide I don't really want to trade, so I move my knight out of the way. And after this, he decides to attack this weak pawn that I put out there, and instead of moving forward or taking that pawn he put out, I decide to attack the bishop defended by the queen, and he just decides to move the bishop out of the way, and this blocks this pawn from being protected because, as you can see before, it was protected by this queen. So I just decide to take this pawn in the center with my queen, and this does a few things. It mainly attacks this corner of the board with the rook in it. So after he moves his queen out to develop it a little more, I just decide to attack the rook with my queen. And he does block this, protected by the knight, because if I take, he could just take my queen with the bishop, which is not good for me. So instead, I give him a check over here. And the best move for him probably would just be to block this with the queen, as it basically forces a queen trade, because if I don't trade, and I do something like moving it back here, he claims this entire D column, and as you can see, this bar is really good for him. But instead of doing that, he makes this mistake of moving his king back here, and as you can see, it's just a mate in 5, because after I move my bishop out here, giving a check, the only available space is either sacrifice your queen like this, sacrifice your bishop like this, or do what he did in the game, which was move his king out, obviously. And after I come in with the queen protected by the pawn, I just get a mate in 2, and that's how I beat BOSSmic5.